Dear colleagues, today we shall discuss which grade of reinforcement is to be used for high-rise towers, particularly where seismicity is there, like zone 3, zone 4, 5 and 6. Uh, the governing code naturally is IS 13920 2016 version. This is what is published in 2016. Now let us see what has come up in Amendment 1. So let us go to the Amendment 2. Page 3, clause 5.3.1. Substitute the following clauses for the existing. What it mentioned now? 5.3.1. Steel reinforcement shall comply with all of the following. Elongation 14.5%. Okay. Maintained. Ratio of ultimate stress to 0.2% proof stress shall not exceed 1.25. So earlier it was 1.2. Now the upper bound is made or further relaxed. So even the bar ultimate stress may go up to 1.25 times of the 0.2% proof stress. Third condition, ratio of ultimate stress to 0.2% proof stress shall be at least 1.15. So this remains as it is. Now one very specifically, one thing is mentioned. Steel shall be only of strength grades with minimum 0.2% proof stress of 415 MPa, 500 MPa or 550 MPa in addition to other requirements of IS 1786. So if any of the additional requirement of IS 1786 which is more stringent than this, that need to be looked into. And also now IS 1786 amendment has introduced reinforcement grades up to Fe550. But if you are in a seismic zone, you want to use the reinforcement for ductile detailing, you have a limit to the whatever grades you can use. The grades you can use are 415, 500 and 550. Now one very important thing come here. This code is nowhere telling you to use 550D only or 500D only or 415D only or special seismic category S only. It mentioned that okay, these three conditions are there, then you can use any of the Fe415, 500, 550, maybe 550 ordinary or maybe 550 ductile and vice versa for all these grades. So we have to keep in mind that 1786 now give us the difference between 550 and 550D or 500 and 500D and 415, 415D or even there is a S, specific seismic reinforcement. So let us go to now 1786. Table 3 gives you mechanical properties. It mentions you there the grades 415, 415D, 500, 500D, 550, 550D and 600. So this is the basic grades it is mentioning. And it gives you the percentage elongation. So Fe415 requires 14.5%. 415D is mentioned with 18%. Fe500 requires 12% minimum percentage of elongation. Fe500D is mentioned as 16%. Now here is the thing I will explain you. For my 13920 this no requirements, I need this to be only 14.5%. Okay, I am not compulsorily bound to have 16%. Same way, here it is 14.5. So here it matches, no problem. Here it is 550D 14.5. Now if you look at further conditions, suppose which is to be used in, if I given a choice of 550 and 550D. If I follow 1786, then the minimum percentage elongation required is 10%. But if I put a condition while purchasing the reinforcement that I want minimum elongation 14.5. Then I can use Fe550 only if further conditions mentioned in 13920 are fulfilled. So let us see how it affects. But before that, let us go to the different amendments. So whatever are the amendments came after that, let us look at that. So now this amendment 1 of 1786, this has specifically mentioned this TS by YS ratio. And here they have introduced the Fe415 seismic grade also. And here they have introduced Fe500S seismic grade also. So here the whatever TS by YS ratio, but in general it is how much? If I look at Fe550D, it is 1.08. If I look at Fe550, it is 1.06. So both of these mentioned in 1786 are non-compliant to IS 13920. Means I have a full choice to go with either 550 or 550D, provided I specifically mention the conditions given in IS 13920. Now here if you see, it is what it mentioned, that it should be greater than 1.06 but not less than 585. And for 550D it mentioned it is 1.08 but not less than 600. Now if you see what 13920 tells us, it tells us that the amendment tells us that ratio shall not exceed 1.25 and ratio of ultimate stress to 0.2% proof stress shall be at least 1.15. So at least 1.15 and is required, whereas what it mentioned, that the ratio should be greater than 1.06. So it is not asking 15%, it is asking only 6%, and here it is asking only 8%. So when you go in market, you can't just order, I want 550D. No, 550D is also not compliant. If you go with 1786, it is not compliant to IS 13920. So you need to specifically mention 13920 requirement, whether you go for Fe550 or whether you go for Fe553. So understand this. This is a very important point. Further, there is a condition put on this Fe550. D, it is mentioned that the total elongation at maximum force percent, minimum on gauge length of 5.65 under root A. So that is mentioned as 5% here for 550D. But how far it is relevant to us? If you look at 13920 amendment, no, there is no such condition mentioned in 13920 seismic code, ductile code. Okay, so this is not compulsory. Now, when I look at this amendment, to use seismic code does not force you to use Fe550D only. It says if you are using Fe550D, okay, then you follow the 1786 condition. So in that case, you need to check this. If you don't go with that, you go with Fe550, yes, no condition is there. Then what are the conditions? Conditions are given in 13920. What are that? That yes, your ratio of this TSY should be more than 1.15 and it should be less than 1.25. So here comes the basic important thing. As a structural engineer, if I suggest my client blindly, go with Fe550D. No. If we go with Fe550D, then also whatever the criteria are mentioned in 1786 are not sufficient from IS 13920 point of view. So I have to specifically mention in my order the criterias of 13920. Now if I have to mention the criteria specifically of 13920 in my order, that this is the, I need these properties, Then why to go with Fe550D or Fe550, particularly if I talk of Mumbai. Mumbai is a moderate seismic zone. So naturally now the point focus on the price. Now the price difference, the premium of Fe550D as compared to Fe550 is somewhere around 750 rupees a ton to 1500 rupees a ton. Now if I look the maximum difference, 1500 rupees a ton. For a say tower of like 30 storied, if I am requiring 5 kg per square feet, and if I have to give 1.5 rupees a kg more, so I am spending 7.5 rupees per square feet more. So it is significant. Of course, you are using a good quality of ductile reinforcement. Criteria are slightly better, but how better they are? They are not really better, because Fe550D is giving you 14.5% elongation as per 1786. As per 1786, Fe550 ordinary, your criteria is 10%. But in market, commonly available Fe550 can very easily give you percentage elongation more than 14.5%. So if I am putting the conditions on TS wise, I can same way put the condition on minimum percentage elongation, and I can save. Now on the minimum side, if the premium is say around something like 800 rupees, so it is just 0.8. So 0.8 into 5, that is 4 rupees a square feet. So it is a 4 rupees a square feet difference if the premium is somewhere. So my personal say is always I suggest client, you check what is the premium for Fe550D. If it is somewhere more than 1000 rupees, you ask your supplier with the conditions mentioned in 13920 in his order and go with Fe550, particularly in Mumbai. But if the premium is less than 1000, then also you will have to specifically mention the conditions of 13920. You can just blindly order that go 550D. No, 550D alone will not comply with all requirement of seismic requirement, ductile detailing requirement, ductility requirement of 13920. So anyway, you have to mention it. But in that case, you will have a better steel. There will be some better chemical composition, and its properties will be naturally superior to your Fe550. Fe550D will be naturally more superior. So criterias are not just blindly like do like this or do like this. You have to carefully look in what type of seismic zone you are. If you are in moderate zone, you can think of this. But if you go to some higher seismic zone, in that case, I would say like this 7 rupees, 8 rupees per square foot cost is not big. You have to be more careful. You have to go with more better ductile steel, and you have to go with Fe550D. So for Delhi like place, I would suggest Fe550D. Mumbai depends on cost premium. You can decide Fe550 or Fe550D. And if you are in Bangalore, Hyderabad, you really don't need Fe550D. You can look at Fe550. So this way you can take your decisions, and the maximum benefit you can achieve out of it. So thank you very much.